Have you ever wondered about NPK's Industrial Rawls nutrient line? Well, in this series, we're going to go through every single product they have from nitrogen all the way to the aminos, breaking down how much sense this nutrient line makes, or if they also live in a life of cognitive dissidence, as we found in the Fox Farm line. And just to be clear, Fox Farm is not the only line that lives in a cognitive dissidence reality. A lot of the nutrient lines in this industry do, and we will dive into those in other videos. But for now, we'll be breaking down the NPK Industries raw nutrient line. Also, if you have not checked out the step-by-step feed schedule for the raw nutrient line, please go ahead and do so. I'll make sure to include the link right here. You're here with Mark Batwell at perfectgardens.com. Please make sure to also like, share, and subscribe, and all the donation buttons are down below, including our Patreon button. Okay, so right when you come to the website, some of the things I love to see, first off, is the front label and back label. In some of the other websites, and I'm just bringing up Fox Farm because those are the most recent videos I've been producing, you cannot find their label on their website. And if someone can prove me wrong, please find the label and send it to me. I was not able to locate it. I actually had to physically go down to the store, look at the back of the bottle, take a picture, and at that point I was able to figure out what was in the back of the bottle. So it's just a little bit of accessibility to information. One of the things I really liked about this company was they made accessible the information. And second, they tell you right here what's in their product. They're basically telling you that it is a 20% amino nitrogen in a water-soluble form. Raw nitrogen does not contain nitrates or urea, which enables it to be applied at all stages of growth and bloom. And right here, what this means is basically around microbiology, and I'm going to talk to you more about that later. Plants take up two forms of nitrogen, nitrate and amino. Raw nitrogen is amino nitrogen only. This is very important, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about this. It can be used as a foliar feed and during bloom, unlike nitrogen. Raw nitrogen is ideal for boosting nitrogen levels, treating deficiencies, and creating optimal recipe solutions. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the back of the label. Okay, so if you guys have been following our channel, I've talked to you a lot about sulfated minerals. So right here, it is derived from amino sulfate, which is a huge important factor because amino sulfate is an inorganic salt with a number of commercial uses. The biggest thing is that it was derived by using sulfuric acid, which creates a complete chemical reaction and makes the mineral available to be used for the plant. In addition to this, when this product's being used, you have two things that happen when it's being used. First, the nitrate immediately becomes available to the plant, which is good for the plant, right? You're kind of just bypassing. And we talk about this, there's some things I don't like about that, but there's other things that are good because the plant immediately gets nitrogen, it looks green, and starts to produce green growth. The next thing is the ammonium. The ammonium gets broken off and it becomes somewhat of like a slow release fertilizer, and the way how it gets really utilized is because of the microbiology converting it into a nitrate so it gets used in the plant, basically throughout the whole grow process. So right here, what are we learning? We're learning that their very first product they're recommending to use in their nutrient feed line makes sense when you're growing with microbiology, right? Because first they're using a sulfated mineral. We've talked about that. Sulfated minerals are a complete chemical reaction that plants recognize as the natural mineral that's out there in nature. Okay. The second thing is that the way how it breaks off, first nitrogen gets available to the plant immediately. The second thing is that it becomes a slow release, so it begins to build your microbiology because your microbiology converts it into a nitrate later. So they're living not first off in a cognitive dissonance reality because what they're recommending makes a lot of sense. Next, I want to talk to you a little bit about inorganic compounds. because I think a lot of people really don't comprehend the understanding of inorganic and carbon. I had a great conversation with my friend yesterday about this, and where a lot of people, I think, get extremely confused around this is that they recognize acids and salts as being inorganic compounds. So they think about it, well, if it's an inorganic compound, they can be interexchanged. And that's kind of the demise of our understanding around fertilizers. And so I'm going to dive into this a little bit so you guys have a little bit better understanding. So let's go ahead and read this right here first. Inorganic compounds are important in the body and responsible for many simple functions. The major inorganic compound are water. So right there, the major inorganic compound out there is water. Okay, so another part right here of a good understanding is an inorganic compound is typically a chemical compound that lacks carbon, hydrogen bonds, that is a compound that is not an organic compound. So why are these two things important in understanding about growing, right? So you have water, and water is an inorganic compound. And what makes it inorganic is that it lacks carbon. And so why is carbon important? Well, carbon allows things to, in a sense, have structure so stuff can hold on to it. Okay, so in water, like if you have hydroponics, you have a whole bunch of minerals and fertilizer just floating in the water. And the way hydroponics works is that because you're using fertilizer and you're bypassing basically the filtration process, and the filtration process is the microbiology and that whole process of converting things at the proper time, and what's affecting those things is pH. In a normal soil environment with carbon and inorganic compounds and microbiology, the things that are fluctuating the pH is the release of CO2 at night and the release of oxygen during the day in the root system, in the rhizosphere. So that's actually what shifts the pH during the day and the night. What controls the retrieval of specific minerals is the release of sugars called exudates through the soil system. Those sugars basically communicate to the microbiology, the fungi, to go and retrieve the specific minerals that are needed. Before those minerals become available, though, they need amino acids. And what creates an amino acid is the bacteria. The bacteria produces a coenzyme that makes the minerals bioavailable. At that point, when it means to be bioavailable, it means that it's in an acidic form. And when at nighttime it turns to an alkaline, what happens is that sodium bicarbonate environment, which creates a higher alkaline environment, it attracts the acids that have been broken down off of the rocks, the acids water soluble in the water. At that point, the water gets absorbed into the root system. And at that point, the acids become the building blocks to the DNA and of the plant, basically. So that's how all that stuff works. And the reason why you want carbon is because the minerals have to have something to attach to. And the reason why you need water is because that's the easiest solution for everything to mix and dissolve and be absorbed. So that's how all those things kind of work together. And when you don't have carbon in your environment, there's not a lot of things for the minerals to attach to. That's why when you're growing in cocoa, that's why a lot of people have a CalMag deficiency, is because there's nothing for the minerals to attach to. There's no carbon in the cocoa. And so because there's no carbon and there's nothing really for the calcium, magnesium to attach to, and why is magnesium so important? Magnesium is what allows all of the other minerals to be bioavailable. And that's why a lot of people have a calcium magnesium deficiency in cocoa. And it's because there's no carbon. There's nothing for the minerals to attach to long enough so that when you have this natural process of day and night of pH fluctuations, which allows the acids to transfer into the water and be absorbed into the plant. There's not a lot of time for that to happen because the cocoa dries out quickly and water just runs through it really fast. There's not a lot of carbon for those minerals to attach to, so there's enough time for that chemical reaction to happen, because we're talking about day and night here. Okay, so let's get back over here to the raw nitrogen. First, I like this product, just the first product. Right when I look at it, what it's derived from, how it's going to be the first thing you're providing to your microbes, because right here when you go over to the feed schedule, they're going to be giving them some phosphorus, some potassium, some kelp, and all these other things, which right here are building blocks. This is where I'm going to once again encourage Drops of Balance. The Drops of Balance is a full set of trace minerals, and at the end of the day, all the nutrient lines are lacking trace minerals. And if you haven't watched the video of understanding more about the law of minimum and the law of tolerance, then that's how you'll understand how to really unlock everything that this is using. But first off, nitrogen, where it's derived from, is going to work really well with a fast uptake. So you're going to see green growth and you're going to see the plant grow really quickly, which is awesome. And it's going to be a slow release, which is going to create a healthy microbe environment. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe as we get into the next product in this nutrient line, which is the phosphorus product. And like I said, I got a lot of things to say about each of these products, one product at a time, because this entire industry will not really know what they're doing. At some point, they'll use products that have a cognitive dissonance reality where, and I hate to talk about Fox Farm again, it's just where they have this Bush Doctor line with microbes, but then they're using high phosphorus products that shut down the microbiome. They don't kill it, it just makes them dormant. One product neutralizes the other product, so in a sense it's wasting money. So I'm going to keep diving into the rest of these, and I look forward to seeing where these products are derived from. How far away are they from creating a nutrient line that is really in line with my core values personally, and the nutrient line that I would recommend? Because I've been asked this question a number of times in the last few weeks. What nutrient line would I recommend? And first product right here, I recommend this product for nitrogen. And so far, I've been recommending this nutrient line for a number of years because specifically around how they have thought about their step-by-step individual products and how they build upon each other so they are not neutralizing or destroying other products they're recommending to you, and you're not throwing away money, basically. Thank you so much. And once again, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great grow, everyone.